Hi, this is Lee from the Law School Toolbox. Today, we're thrilled to have with us Dean Jackie Gardina of the Colleges of Law in Santa Barbara and Ventura. Dean Gardina is a visionary in legal education dedicated to making it more accessible and affordable through innovative teaching and learning models. She's also deeply involved in shaping the future of legal licensing in California. Dean Gardina, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm excited to be here.
I do feel like we have to spend a minute talking about this mess in California because we've referenced it a number of times. So, as we both know, and anyone who listens to our podcast knows, California has kind of taken a left turn over the summer and said they are not going to use the MBE portion of the bar exam anymore. And they hired Kaplan Bar Review to write questions. There's something called the California Bar Experiment, which we are calling like the reality TV show of the bar exam, because that sounds like Love is Blind. That's what they also call an experiment. But anyway, that students are welcome to take this. And if they do well enough on this practice test, that they may or may not get a score boost, because the California Supreme Court has not made a decision about that as of this recording. And we don't know when they will. So it's feeling a bit of a mess. It's created a lot of chaos, and chaos just in the people I talk to. And I mean, you're, I'm sure, talking to all the other law school deans who are, I'm sure, displeased with the chaos because you all want all of your students to be able to become licensed. So I guess let's start with California law students. We mentioned if you're nervous, we still think you should probably sit for the bar. But what are you telling students about this situation in California?
Yeah, so I think you're right.
That's the best. I think that's just it. Yeah, that's all we got.
I think you're right. Not having their plans and lives derailed because of changes in the state bar is making is definitely something. You know, I work primarily with working adults who have gone to school in the evening, and they plan their lives pretty carefully. And waiting 9 months instead of a lot of our students finish in December because it's a 3.5 years. So February is a much more common test taking time. I think what is nervous for those of our faculty who specifically work on bar preparation is, you know, the State Bar of California by law is supposed to give law schools a 2-year head start when they make changes to the bar exam. So we made the argument that you didn't give us 2 years to prepare students for a new bar exam. And they said, well, that's not substantively changing. These are going to be MBE-like questions. So therefore, it's just a almost formatter or contractor change. But as you pointed out, writing and preparing multiple choice questions is very challenging. And doing it within 6 months is, I think, even more challenging, and doing it well in that time frame, and not having any practice questions for students to use is I think going to make people go into the exam not necessarily less prepared, but more anxious because they're not going to be sure they're prepared. And I think that's the hardest thing.
Yeah, don't forget California also hired a bar prep company and a test prep company, not a company that writes tests, which I also thought was an interesting choice. That until recently was still selling, like recently as of like a week or so ago, was still selling California bar prep. So
yeah. And you know, when they wrote that contract, I don't know if you saw when this played out, but it's announced that they wrote the contract, and then the NCBE says, we've got some copyright problems with what you're doing. And
yeah, copying what we did. It's I don't know if you all went to law school.
What does MBE like mean exactly?
Did you take copyrights? I mean, I feel like an IP class, maybe that should be required for folks to have minimum competency.
Right. Yeah. So when they sent that letter to the state bar, I was just like, no. And then it got worse from there. So my hope is for those sitting for the February bar exam is that this behind the scenes, well, not so much behind the scenes, but this stuff that is on the front end of preparing for the bar exam will still have a bar exam that is as smoothly running as one can hope. I mean, I think being able to take it remotely will absolutely help, especially with people with disabilities, be able to kind of create the space that they need to be successful. And, there could be some upsides to it, but there's so much unknown, and it's so nerve wracking for students in preparing for the bar that, so what if I do 1,800, MBE questions that are based off of what we thought the NCBE questions were going to look like? I'm now going to have a different vendor doing questions, and they can't look like the MBE questions because there's a copyright issue.
Yeah.
So it's a mess.
I do think the one tiny thing that students and bar takers can hold on to is everyone's in the same boat.
Yes.
And I think that was important during those COVID exams too around the country. It's like, yes, this feels, rushed, and you had they moved the exam and you're now taking it at home. But at least everyone is in the same boat. And that everyone's just doing the best with the information they have, and we all have the same information.
Right. Right.
So
I think that's a good point. In fact, I think California students are probably going to be better situated than out-of-state students, simply because they're closer. They'll be able to participate in that November 8th and 9th practice exam more easily than someone from out of state.
Yes, that's true. I know. I can't wait to hear about how the experiment goes. It's very, I know. I really want like a vlog or something of someone, and that's never going to be allowed. But I feel like it's all been so, put together at the last minute, and what's it going to be like? And I don't know.
Yeah,
they're not going to give us that though.
I think they also switched the. They're not using ExamSoft anymore.
No, it's it's learning. It's not machine learning, but it's
ProctorU, I think, is doing it.
I think it's a different one. I actually think they changed it again. I think so.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
We'll put in the show notes. I know it's Measure Learning. That's what it is. But like with a Z, like Measure Learning out of Atlanta.
Yeah. Which is the corporate name that houses ProctorU.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
So if you go go in Google, you'll see that ProctorU is within it as one of its divisions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I know from schools that have used ProctorU that they haven't been satisfied, and in fact have exited the contract early because of their dissatisfaction. So I feel like I really need to be more positive, because
we're all in the same boat. That's what we're going to do.
Yes,
we're all we're going to get through it together. We're going to be here. But yes, exam software has been known to fail, and trying a new exam software is tricky. But we're all going to learn how to try to manage it and do all of our practice tests that we assume they'll let us do to log in. I mean, I think there is an honesty about it of just like, this is a mess. But, life can be messy. And so as a lawyer, you've got to pivot and make the best of the situation you've got.
Right.
And so this is what you're being dealt. And, lawyers love to tell bar stories, right? About, I took the bar exam. Think about the bar story you're going to have. Well,
and I do hope that if there are issues, that people are not going to be required to pay for a July bar exam. I think they've raised the prices for the bar applicants as well. So the cost of failing the first time is going to be even more significant. And if it's the result of just a bad set of circumstances, I really hope the state bar respects that and allows the retake to happen for free.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
If you enjoyed this video, please take a second to give us a like and leave a comment. And be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future content. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us via the contact form at lawschooltoolbox.com.